adult Sunday school class, yeah. Bringing world religions in, but the very first thing that I heard was the drum and some Native American stuff going on, and I'm like, that is so cool. And then Kat does this amazing pre-video. Again, if you didn't get to see it, I encourage you to watch it. And actually, one of the quotes that you spoke is one that I'm going to speak today. And then the music, I mean, although John knows what I'm going to talk about, the music was just so perfect for today. I just love how the universe flows when we are just open to that flow. So we know that we are in the week of Thanksgiving, yes. We're making plans for Thanksgiving meals and things like that. And I think it's important when we come together to, be reminded about the holiday of Thanksgiving and about the practice of gratitude. And today we're going to do that by focusing on some Native American spirituality. Because what you may not know is that the month of November is Native American Heritage Month. And it's a month to celebrate all the various Native American cultures across the board. So let's first talk about Thanksgiving. So I'm sure that for most of us, we were raised and we were taught that Thanksgiving, the first Thanksgiving was in the year 1621, and it was after the Pilgrims had a really great harvest. And so they got together and they did a 3-day feast with the Wampanoag Native American Indians, and there were 90 of the Indians at this feast, as well as 53 pilgrims who were survivors of the Mayflower. And for those of us who, were taught this, and I'm assuming we were all taught this, we probably had our little plays that we were in when we were younger, and we had the pilgrim hats, or we were the Indians, and how many of us made the turkeys with our hands? That may show how old we are. I don't know if they still do that, but do you all still do it? Okay. And essentially it's like, we learn this and it's like, oh, and they all lived happily ever after. Not. Of course, what we learned is that millions of Native Americans, indigenous people, were killed from 1492 until present day. But I know, for me, in the way that I was taught, and I'm going to assume for most of us, it was the whole focus was on the Thanksgiving feast, and very little was focused on the massacre of the Native American peoples. And really, we should be aghast and appalled by what occurred with the indigenous peoples of this land. We should absolutely be aghast. The reality is that European white men came in and they lied and they stole the land and they stole their sacred lands and they massacred, again, just millions of Indians. But we can learn so much about their ways. They had such incredibly deep spirituality, and so today that's what we're going to focus on. The Native Americans, when white men came to the land, they were living on the land, they were living with the land, they were living off the land. They felt an incredible oneness with nature and with what they call Grandmother Earth or Mother Earth, and they felt great honor and respect for the earth and for everything on this planet. And they felt a great relationship with the presence. And translated, that presence is the Great Spirit. It's Wakantanka, but it's translated as the Great Spirit. And they have these beautiful rituals and ceremonies. And if you did watch the pre-video, you got to see a little bit of that. These beautiful dances that they did, honoring this Great Spirit, honoring the earth, and honoring the animals that they had to kill to eat. And what's interesting too about the Native Americans is they didn't take more than they needed. What a concept. They worked together as a village to make sure that everyone had what they needed. They took care of each other, and you know what else they did? They took care of their elders. They honored their elders. So I want to share with you what Lame Deer said. It would be good if I turned it on. All right. He said, before our white brothers arrived to make us civilized men, we didn't have any kind of prison. Because of this, we had no delinquents. We had no locks nor keys, and therefore among us there were no thieves. When someone was so poor that he couldn't afford a horse, a tent, or a blanket, he would, in that case, receive it all as a gift. We were too uncivilized to give great importance to private property. We didn't know any kind of money, and consequently, the value of a human being was not determined by his wealth. We had no written laws laid down, no lawyers, no politicians. Therefore, we were not able to cheat and swindle one another. We were really in bad shape before the white man arrived, and I don't know how to explain how we were able to manage without these fundamental things that they tell us are necessary for a civilized society. Pretty comical. And it's not to say that laws and these kinds of things aren't good. It's good to have some form to things. But I'm thinking the Native Americans got it. What do you think? Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about that first. They modeled a very aware relationship with what they called the presence, the Great Spirit, and with the planet. Big Thunder Wabanaki said, I may have to have you do that for me, Lisa. Or Amy, thank you. It's just not moving. Said, we must, maybe one back. Maybe one more back. That's it. Thank you. The Great Spirit is in all things. He is in the air we breathe. The Great Spirit is our Father, but the earth is our mother. She nourishes us. That which we put into the ground, she returns to us. So let's start with the first part of that. They lived in a very personal relationship with God, the Great Spirit. Now they saw the Great Spirit a little bit differently than we do, but nonetheless, it was a true partnership. So my first question to us is, could we all experience a closer relationship with that which we call God? Could we bring that more into our not just our daily lives, but our hourly lives? And I'm thinking all of us could be nodding our head yes on this. So I'm going to give you just a quick tip. It starts by waking up first thing in the morning and just saying thank you. Let that be the first thing when you wake up in the morning is thank you. And you're just opening yourself up to whatever the God of your understanding is. And you're saying thank you to that which is breathing me because it's still breathing me and I have another day. So thank you. But then take it a step beyond that and know that no matter what the day has in store for you, that you're not walking it alone. That there is this partnership, that you are walking in the fullness of this Great Spirit. And if you're not, there's only one reason why you are not experiencing it. And do you know what that reason is? You. Thank you. Us. We are the reason. Because the Great Spirit, Holy Spirit, love, wisdom, source, God, universe, whatever you want to call it, is everywhere present in its fullness always. And it is always here for us. And ours is to create this unique relationship with it, however you define it. And knowing, like I said, knowing that whatever it is that we're facing in our day, whatever this is, that it is going forth with us. And in fact, not only grace is really that it goes out before us. And that we can trust that unless we try to run out before it. How many of us ever try to run out before a spirit? Wait, I think I can take care of that better than God can, And it's opening ourselves up to that, no, there's this beautiful, great divine spirit that is here for me. It's here for all of us. And it's working on the greater good of myself, but it's also working on the greater good of everyone else. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you about this. Just because you walk in this awareness doesn't mean that life is always going to be easy and happy and joyful, right? But what else I'm going to tell you is that when you become more aware and you live in that greater awareness as the Native Americans did and continue to do, that there is this presence with us always, that you will be able to find peace in the midst of chaos, a peace that passes all understanding in the midst of chaos. So Black Elk says that the first piece, which is the most important, is that which comes from within the souls of people when they realize their relationship, their oneness with the universe and all its powers. And when they realize that at the center of the universe dwells the Great Spirit, and that this center is really everywhere. It is within each one of us. Gee, it kind of sounds like Unity teachings, doesn't it? And in that quote, Big Thunder talked about our relationship with Grandmother Earth, with our Mother Earth. Now, I am happy to say that as Unity of Springfield, this is something that is very important to us, that one of our biggest events that we have every year is called Planet Unity, and it's our Earth Day celebration, and that the whole reason that we created that event was to bring awareness to ourselves and to our community of things that we can be doing to take better care of this planet. How many of us think we could do a better job of taking care of the planet? Absolutely. Hereditary Chief Edward Moody says, we must protect the forest for our children, grandchildren, and children yet to be born. Oh my gosh. I think about this sometimes. I have grandchildren. We have grandchildren now they could be childbearing, at some of their ages. And I just think about them, but then you think about their children that they're bringing into the world. We must protect the forest for those who can't speak for themselves, such as the birds, the animals, the fish, and the trees. And Chief Dan George said, if you talk to the animals, they will talk with you and you will know each other. If you do not talk to them, you will not know them. And what you do not know, you fear. And when one fears, one destroys. We have a big ways to go with that, don't we? We do. And then a Native American elder said, honor the sacred, honor the earth, honor the elders, honor all with whom we share the earth. Four-leggeds, two-leggeds, winged ones, swimmers, crawlers, plant and rock people, walk in balance and beauty. And this was what Kat had put on the pre-video without us even knowing. So the importance of really being aware of loving this earth and of being in relationship with it. Not just that, we go out and we do what we want to the planet, but that we're in relationship with it. This is our mother. This Mother Earth provides us with so much that we need, all that we need really to live. So honoring the earth. Now they also teach us the sacredness and the importance of our relationship with each other. And I notice that in Native American cultures, there is a strong desire and an effort to treat everyone as equally important, equally valued. Again, this is something we could use more of in our culture. White Elk said, if the white man wants to live in peace with the Indian, he can live in peace. Treat all men alike. Give them all the same law. Give them all an even chance to live and grow. All men were created by the same great spirit chief. They are all brothers. The earth is the mother of all people, and all people should have equal rights upon it. Can I get an amen? Amen. Yes, that's an amen on that. And they also remind us of the golden rule. Chief Seattle says, yep. Thank you. That humankind has not woven the web of life. We are but one thread within it. Whatever we do to the web, ping, we do to ourselves. You cannot ping the web and not have it come back to you. All things are bound together. All things connect. And then Sun Bear said, I do not think the measure of a civilization is how tall its buildings of concrete are, but rather how well its people have learned to relate to their environment and fellow man. Great wisdom, huh? Yeah. I mean, this is great wisdom for us. And they honor their elders. How do Native Americans honor their elders? Well, in American Indian cultures, elders are valued as protectors, mentors, teachers, keepers of wisdom, and intergenerational transmitters of cultural knowledge. And I thought about this and I thought, how many of us really took time with our grandparents and even our parents to really sit down and talk to them about their lives and about what they experienced and about the changes that occurred in their lives and how valuable that would have been for us to have had those conversations. But he goes on to say, where am I? Oh, and they honor them as leaders in their community, and they also honor their ancestors. And I love how they honor their ancestors. They really lean into everything that their ancestors went through. They lean into what their ancestors learned, how they grew, and they have these beautiful rituals and ceremonies where they call in the spirits of their ancestors, and they really tap into that to guide them. Again, I'm like, wow, this is really pretty amazing stuff, to really honor our elders, number one, because, my friends, we don't. Look at what we do to our elderly people. We put them in nursing homes, and I'll tell you, there's a lot of them that don't even have families that come and see them. We discard our elderly people. We have a long way to go in that, but also honoring our ancestors. And they live in gratitude. So I want to share with you this little story that came from the Reader's Digest, and it was written by Fred Bauer, and he said that he had read a novel called I Heard the Owl Call My Name by Margaret Craven, and in this book she tells of a young minister whose name is Mark, who is sent by his bishop to a remote parish of the Kawakayu Indians in British Columbia. And he is told that the Indians don't have a word for thank you. But what he finds out very quickly is that these Native Americans are very, very generous. He said instead of saying thanks, this is really cool, it's their custom to return every favor with a favor of their own, and every kindness with an equal or a superior kindness. That's how they do their thanks. And Fred Bauer says, I wonder if we had no words in our vocabulary for thank you, would we do a better job of communicating our gratitude? Would we be more responsive, more sensitive, more caring? Isn't that beautiful? Like that we're constantly in that state of wanting to give and wanting to give and wanting to give and share our gratitude by giving forth, by giving forth, by giving forth. I think that's so beautiful. So I believe that in our culture, we've lost sight of a few of these things. Would you kind of agree with me on that? And it's so important for us to start becoming more conscious of living in that awareness of the presence, that holy presence that is with us every day throughout our entire day. And how nice would that be rather than quickly get sucked down the rabbit hole of negativity and fear and worry. When you start to feel that energy coming, you remember, wait, the Great Spirit is right here with me. I can call forth the energy of that Great Spirit. We can learn from them a greater sense of responsibility for each other, for our elders, and for our grandmother Earth, and honoring of our ancestors. There's so much that we can learn from our Native American friends. But how we're going to, and when I say close, it's going to take us a few minutes to do this, but I wanted to bring in something that we could experience together that is from our Native American friends. This is actually the translation of the Mohawk version of the Haudenosaunee. Nope. I actually wrote this out phonetically, and I said it numerous times. Haudenosaunee Thanksgiving Address. It was developed and published in 1993, and this came from the Six Nations Indian Museum. So I didn't do the entire thing because it would keep us here for a really long time, but what I did was I brought in numerous of these things that we can share together. And so I'm just going to invite you just to be open to this experience. Let yourself kind of feel into how the Native Americans just view everything, how they're so open-hearted, how they're so open-minded. And if you would like to share with me in this, then I encourage you to do this. So we're going to start with this together. Today, We have gathered and we see that the cycles of life continue. We have been given the duty to live in balance and harmony with each other and all living things. So now, bringing our minds together as one, we give greetings and thanks to each other as people, and now our minds are one. And I'm just going to invite you to turn to somebody and just say namaste. Give that greeting. Okay. Okay, together. We are thankful to our Mother Earth, the earth, for she gives us all that we need for life. She supports our feet as we walk about upon her. It gives us joy that she continues to care for us as she has from the beginning of time. To our mother, we send greetings and thanks. Now our minds are one. And I want to invite you just to send a blessing of gratitude and love to this magnificent Mother, Grandmother Earth that has supported us for billions of years, actually. Okay, together. We give thanks to the waters of the world for quenching our thirst and providing us with strength. Water is life. We know its power in many forms: waterfalls and rain, mists and streams, rivers and oceans. With one mind, we send greetings and thanks to the Spirit of the water, and now our minds are one. And we're going to invite us, just to imagine the waters without all the pollution. Imagine the waters that are just teeming with life, and that this life is supported because we're making different choices. Together, we turn our minds to all the fish life in the water. They were instructed to cleanse and purify the water. They also give themselves to us as food. We are grateful that we can still find pure water. So we turn now to the fish and send our greetings and thanks. Now our minds are one. How many of you have thought about thanking the fish? Good job, John. Yeah, I love this. Okay, together. With one mind, we turn to honor and thank all the food plants we harvest from the garden. Since the beginning of time, the grains, vegetables, beans, and berries have helped the people survive. Many other living things draw strength from them too. We gather all the food plants together as one and send them a greeting of thanks. Now our minds are one. And I promise you that in Native American spirituality, they're sending this blessing as they're partaking of the food plants. Together, we gather minds to greet. Sorry. Yes, go. They have many things to teach us as people. We are honored by them when they give up their lives so we may use their bodies as food for our people. We see them near our homes and in the deep forests. We are glad they are still here, and we hope that it will always be so. Now our minds are one. Before we go on to this, so some of the ones that I didn't put on here, but I want to share with you that they are in conscious awareness of blessing, are the medicine herbs that are everywhere. The tree, oh wait, I did. No, I didn't. I thought I put the trees on there. I did. So we're going to do did we do the enlightened leaders? No. Okay, so we're going to do that side. They did the birds, the four winds, the grandfathers, the thunder beings, the sun, grandmother moon, and the stars. So they do all of these as well, but we still have a few more to go. Okay, together. We gather our minds to greet and thank the enlightened teachers who have come to help throughout the ages. When we forget how to live in harmony, they remind us of the way we were instructed to live as people. With one mind, we send greetings and thanks to these caring teachers. Now our minds are one. And together, we now turn our thoughts to the trees. The earth has many families of trees who have their own instructions and uses. Some provide us with shelter and shade, others with fruit, beauty, and other useful things. Many people of the world use a tree as a symbol of peace and strength. With one mind, we greet and thank the tree life. Now our minds are one. Together, now we turn our thoughts to the Creator or Great Spirit and send greetings and thanks for all the gifts of creation. Everything we need to live a good life is here on this Mother Earth. For all the love that is still around us, we gather our minds together as one and send our choicest words of greetings and thanks to the Creator. Now our minds are one. And then the last one, together. We have now arrived at the place where we end our words. Of all the things we have named, it was not our intention to leave anything out. If something was forgotten, we leave it to each individual to send such greetings and thanks in their own way. Now our minds are one. Isn't that beautiful? And what a beautiful thing because, as I was reading this and rereading this, I just thought, my goodness, I'd never thought about really taking time to give thanks to all these things, for everything that they provide for us. We kind of do an overall, thank you to the earth, thank you, but to really get specific. And my whole point today, number one, was to bring Native American spirituality into our ministry, to talk about the very real issues that still affect our Native American community, but also to really bring this whole concept of gratitude in a deeper way to us. So my hope is that as you move into this week, that you will remember that this Thanksgiving is not just about, what we learned about growing up, and but it's so much more than that, and that we can take some of this Native American spirituality into our week and maybe even into our Thanksgiving celebrations. Wouldn't that be cool to take some of this into it? That's just the way that we help to honor everything. So I just wish you just the best, most wonderful Thanksgiving celebration this week, whatever it is that you're going to do. And I say to each and every one of you, namaste. I behold that light and that presence in each one of you. Namaste. Thank you. And thank you. And I do have this in its fullness that I can print off for anybody if anybody would like it. So you have all the birds and the sun and grandmother moon and everything else in there. So yeah, okay, I can get that printed off for you. All right, as our